Welcome everybody to another episode of Review Please Anime Edition, where today we'll be talking about Ranking of Kings. And of course, as usual, you have here, I'm El, and as well my co-host, Jesus. Jesus, what's going on?
What's up? I'm looking forward to talking about Ranking of Kings. I enjoyed this anime a lot. I'm just going to say it out the gate. It's very heartwarming at times. It's very lovely at times.
Yeah, Bojji is I think he's probably one of my favorite protagonists in an anime, just because he's so like he's a child, which we're gonna get into here, but he's just like this warm, embracing child. He accepts everyone regardless of who they are and where they came from and stuff. He's very accepting. Almost he's pure 100%.
Yeah. With that said, like, on protagonist, I do think Bojji is my favorite protagonist of any of the animes that we've watched. And like, I love Trigun. Like, I love Vash the Stampede. I love Vash so much. And like, Bojji's characterization in Ranking of Kings, he's just so lovely. He's just so lovely.
And
he's just so lovely.
It's crazy to think that he's such a great character and he does not have the ability to speak.
I know that's going to be a fun thing to talk about, because I think that's an important thing that we need to talk about.
Exactly. It's so crazy. He does because he's deaf, and he just does make noises and go, like he'll, kind of react to certain things and, or whatever. And, it's, his, friend, Kage, can understand him basically. Which we're going to get into here.
He's the only character that can understand.
Only guy. Exactly. It's so funny. They're great friends. And so this anime, I think, is great. But before we go just deep diving into it and we break it down, first, Jesus, what are your top level thoughts on Ranking of Kings?
So I like Ranking of Kings a lot. I think there's a lot to enjoy about Ranking of Kings. It's not too serious. Like, I think Ranking of Kings does a really good job of balancing humor and serious. Like, there is some serious stuff happening, almost like Game of Thrones level, like people betraying each other, like the kingdom being in disarray, and just like characters, how they treat each other. Like, there's some really serious stuff, but I think it's a combination of just like the characterization of Bojji, who is so positive, who looks for the good in people, and then the humor that like offsets that seriousness. So you have like the seriousness that's happening, but then you have Bojji and the humor that kind of offset like these really heavy things that are happening. So like, I think Ranking of Kings, like the biggest thing I could say about it is that it balances humor and the seriousness of everything so well. And that's what I love about, and that's my favorite thing about Ranking of Kings, this anime, is just that balance that it has. Because, and throughout the whole series, we're only reviewing season 1, but I've watched all of Bojji the Rock. I was about to say Bojji the Rock. I've watched both seasons of Ranking of Kings. I've watched everything of Ranking of Kings because I enjoyed it that much. But like, it does such a good job of just that balance. Like, it never takes itself super seriously, and it never becomes like a pure comedy. Whereas animes like this might be controversial, I don't know. Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball in general, goes to the extremes where it's too serious at times and then it's too humorous at other times. You know what I mean? Dragon Ball doesn't really have that balance, where it's just too much at times, or like it's one of the extremes, and that's good. I think Ranking of Kings balances it really well. Does that make? I hope that makes sense. So
no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think it's interesting because we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, where Ranking of Kings, it follows a very linear path, kind of similar to a lot of just the structure of a story, where you have your protagonist who has to overcome these obstacles to eventually achieve his goal, right?
Yeah.
And there are moments and hiccups in this where Bojji and Kage, his friend, you kind of get lore of their background as far as like their history, and it's like it's serious. Like, for example, we talked about this before, where Kage, his family, he comes from a clan of assassins, and they're on the run. They were basically just used to basically infiltrate kingdoms and things like that, to, you know, assassinate the kings or queens and stuff like that. And then eventually, if I remember correctly, there comes a moment where they kind of get hunted down, and they're trying to get rid of the assassin clan, and him and his mom are on the run. Eventually they get cornered, and his mom basically gets murdered and gets killed, and he runs. And it's like, that's very heavy to deal with, especially when you watch it in this anime. It's very heavy. And he's basically, Kage is basically, if I remember correctly, the last of his clan.
Yeah, he's the last of his clan, and he has that weight, and that it. Ooh, like it even takes like his storyline deeper than that, because like his mother gets killed, and then he resorts to living on the streets of the city, whatever this, I can't remember what the name of the city is called, and he gets taken in by like some like thief basically, and the thief just uses him and like treats him like shit. Like the thief guy is just treats Kage like complete garbage, but Kage like sees in him like, oh, this is a new parental authority in my life. This is someone that can fill the gap that my mom left, even though this person treats me like shit. And there's a lot you can unpack with that. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You just like in real life, like again, going back to the seriousness of it, where that whole, because like his like backstory was an entire episode. Like, it was just an entire episode where we saw his mother die. But even then, like the person that took him in betrayed him. Also, let's betrayed him. But then in his last moments, did not give away Hokage. Now I'm going Naruto here. Kage. I'm just like mixing up names here. Kage. He didn't give up Kage in the end, though. That's something to point out too. Like he was loyal. Like even though he betrayed Kage, he also didn't reveal Kage at the end. I don't know if you remember that episode where, like in his last, before his like the father figure passed away, died.
Yeah.
Did he die, or was it just like severe injuries and then Kage just left? I can't remember.
I think he just left. If I remember correctly,
because he got like tortured, right? Like he
got tortured. Yeah.
But he didn't reveal Kage, because Kage had like was watching or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then he noticed and then didn't reveal Kage because he felt bad. I was like, that even though he was a shitty ass person and did betray him initially, he realized his mistake. This is why Kage is also my favorite character. I fucking love Kage so much.
He's one of my favorites. I love too.
Kage. But like man, there's again some serious, very serious stuff. Like we have episodes like where Bojji gets betrayed by his teacher, his mentor. Yeah, the person that is supposed to protect him tries to kill him, tries to murder him.
Yeah,
and it's like, fuck, dude.
The betrayal,
and then like his brother, Data, dude, like his storyline, his whole storyline is like, you have Bojji who's so freaking loving and trust everybody, and we have Data who. Data is so complicated because, like, on one hand, he loves Bojji. He does love Bojji.
He does love him. Yeah, but
he also wants to prove himself that he deserves to be king. And I think that's something we haven't talked about. Bojji wants to be king. He was selected by his father boss to become king of their kingdom and stuff like that. But then because Bojji is a runt, basically, he's like what? He's runt. He's deaf. He's not able to be the king that everybody wants him to be. So Data gets chosen. And so Data has to live up to that expectation. Like his boss was like this great king, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He was like the amazing king that everybody loved. And so Data has to live up for that. I keep saying Data. Is that his name? Data?
Data.
Data from Star Trek. Anyways, like he has to live up to his father's thing, but also have to prove himself that, I deserve to be king over Bojji, when their father chose Bojji. And his story is so tragic too, because then he also gets used by the mirror thing
by the longest time. Yeah.
And then so many other characters are also being used by the mirror thing.
Exactly.
I can't remember the name of the mirror either. But like, man, there's just so much like whiplash. I shouldn't say whiplash, but like there's so much seriousness to it. But then again, the humor that comes through, like with just the interactions that Bojji has with characters, it's so heartwarming at times with Bojji when he's like, when characters are being genuine with Bojji and interacting with Bojji. Kage, when he interacts with Bojji, is just so loving. Like Kage at first is like robbing Bojji. He's just like, Bojji is just bringing him items. If you remember that in the first couple episodes, Bojji's just bringing him items, and Kage is like, "The hell is wrong with you, dude? I'm using you for your items. What are you doing? Why do you keep bringing me these items?" And Bojji's just like giving it to him, and it's just so heartwarming. Like there's just so much interaction, and then like later on, as we get introduced to more characters, like the new teacher for Bojji, Domas, right? Like
Domas.
He's amazing. Like he's just awesome with how he interacts.
I'm sorry, Despa.
He's just amazing with how he interacts, because Domas was the first teacher, right? Yeah,
Domas was the one that betrayed him.
Despa. Oh, it's too many similar names in this anime. But like Despa, when he interacts with Bojji, it's fucking incredible. Like it's just so fascinating with their interactions with characters is just so freaking good and so heartwarming. Is the best way I can put it. Like it feels so heartwarming. Is like is the best way to put it for me. I hope that makes sense. No,
that makes perfect sense. Yeah, this is definitely like a very heartwarming anime that like will have moments that it just pulls at your heartstrings with like, you know, people's backgrounds, and just it's because what I think is good about this anime is that everyone here, it's funny, it's like is redeemable, and they're on this like journey of evolving as a character. Like for example, Daida, like his brother, like you said, he kind of, even though Daida doesn't have sort of the you know, he doesn't have the disabilities like Bojji does, but like he still feels like that weight of like his dad chose him, Bojji, over him, and like him feeling like, am I not good enough? You know, kind of like the sibling rivalry in a way. And then that kind of like trying to deal with that and to try to prove that he can be as good, if not better, as a king, and so on and so forth. Because like when you first start this anime, Daida, you do not like Daida. Like Daida just seems like
a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's
like he treats Bojji like shit, because they have like that sword fight where Daida is like, fight me. And Bojji's like, okay, let's do it. Bojji, like, and it's clear Bojji doesn't stand a chance. But I think that's again, Bojji he is the bravest kid ever.
Exactly.
He's brave and is willing to do anything to prove himself. And I think that's where the heart comes from. Like maybe not even heartwarming. It's just, there's a heart to this show, and it's all centered around Bojji, and through Bojji, all of the other characters want to become better. Does that?
Exactly. Yeah, he's kind of like, he is the vehicle to allow the other characters to change. Because from the beginning to the end, Bojji, he does transform and change a little bit, but he's mostly pure. Like he's pure at heart, and he judges no one. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't ever feel like he wants to betray people or anything like that. He is kind of like the example of the perfect type of person, you know, and everyone kind of has to like look at that and be like, oh, and as you watch the anime and you go through it, people slowly but surely realize like, oh, like I should be better. Like if they're like kind of like a evil character or like a bad character, even the main villain, the Mira's name is Miranjo. Even her story is like crazy, because before she was a Mira, she was like a sorcerer to Bose, and like she was disfigured, and she had to deal with a lot of things that kind of just led her down the path that eventually she came to. But even then, like Bojji doesn't hold any ill will towards her.
He it's just like her because he wants to see the good in people, and like
exactly,
that is such an endearing quality in a character. Like it maybe you can mark it off as being a foolish or a fool or whatever, but it's like, no, this works for Bojji because Bojji believes in people. And I think that's the mark of a good king, because I think like the whole idea of ranking of kings is like who is going to be king, who is going to be the better king, and I think that's a conversation that Daida and Bojji go back and forth on who would be the better king.
Yeah.
Bojji is more caring, but Daida is fundamentally the stronger person and the more tactical visionary of the group, whereas Bojji wants to believe in people, wants to see the good in people, and believes that people can change. And so like there's that dynamic there where it's like who would be the better king, you know? And
exactly.
We're not going to get into season 2 because season 2 a lot of stuff changes and everything. But like in season 1, that is like we start seeing that dynamic towards the end of season 1, and like man, this anime is so good. With how it handles things.
So I'll say this. So before we go any deeper, let me break down the synopsis of season 1 for Bojji.
Sorry, you asked me like what I thought, and then we went on this whole tangent. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So for Ranking Kings, there's the synopsis here. The story is basically there's a little prince named Bojji who is deaf, but above all naive, because despite many criticisms from his people about his ascension to the throne, he does his best and dreams of becoming the greatest of kings. One day he meets Kage, a survivor of a wiped out assassin clan who understands his words despite Bojji being unable to speak due to his disability. The story follows the pair as they navigate the world and all of its adventures in darkness. Bojji's father, King Bose, a legendary giant warrior who in his prime was widely renowned as the strongest man in the world, while Bojji's right to succession is affirmed by Bose on his deathbed. There are those among the royal court that believe that Bojji's physical shortcomings make him unfit to rule, and that his arrogant but physically capable younger half-brother, Prince Daida, is more suited for ascension. Chief among these dissenters is Bose's widow and Daida's mother, Queen Healing, who calls for a vote to circumvent Bose's will and forego Bojji's right to succession. The vote is passed and Daida is placed upon the throne. Having been denied his birthright, Bojji requests he is allowed to undertake a journey so that he may gain experience and grow stronger. Healing, who once had great affection for Bojji and regarded him as her own son, begrudgingly acquiesces. Unbeknownst to both of them, Daida, under the influence of an enigmatic figure, has set in motion a sinister plot to consolidate his power and achieve the position of number 1 in the ranking of kings. So, to kind of go into a little bit more to the plot, basically, so Bojji was the rightful heir to the throne by his father's decree, and he was supposed to be one. There's this whole backstory that you kind of get a little bit later into Ranking of Kings, where King Bose, the reason, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason why he was the strongest was because he made a deal with some sort of like, was it the witch or some sort of like figure to gain the strength, if I remember correctly, but at the price of his son's strength, if I remember correctly. That's why Bojji is so weak. And Bojji, if I remember correctly, he has all that disability or something. He gained all the strength, and I can't remember who made the deal with him. If it was Midron or if it was somebody else. But if I remember correctly, he was fighting something.
It was with the mirror, Miranjo.
Okay, the mirror. That's right.
And it was to like not allow his future son to have power.
That's right. That's right.
And it would be added to his own power, so he could defeat the demon and consolidate his power in the kingdom and stuff.
That's right.
It was essentially a deal with the devil type of situation. So
it's a deal with the devil, and of course you don't know this at first because it's not revealed till later. I think in the middle of the season, but I can't remember where I was going with that. But so Bojji basically is rightful heir to the throne. His father passes, and then basically he's voted to be not the heir to the throne because everyone feels like, well, Bojji can't talk. How is he going to talk to the people of the kingdom? How is he going to run things? And I think everyone in the beginning in the kingdom, besides his dad, Kage, and initially Domas, everyone is like trying to support Bojji, or though they're trying to support Bojji, but everyone feels that the king should be like
strong
their,
and powerful.
fist down. Yeah. They should be like a certain type of way because, I guess they're trying to compare it to King Boss, of like the king is strong. The king is like, they rule with an iron fist. And so they feel that Daida is better for it. And then Bojji goes on this adventure. I'll say that for me, this anime, like there was a lot of, man, just overall, it's so cool. I think Bojji and Kage are like a great pair because they're kind of like a mirror of each other where basically, Bojji is this guy. He has all these disabilities where he's deaf. He's not strong. He has no strength, but they overcome that. Same thing with Kage, where he was a part of an assassin clan that was used to eventually be wiped out, and him being the last one. They're all isolated from, the rest of the kingdom, basically, to a certain extent, where they're all not taken serious, or like just looked down upon because they're not like everyone else, right? And Bojji is basically like I said earlier, the pure at heart, where he, regardless of everyone's shortcomings or however they are, whether they be bad or good, he wants to see the good in everybody, which, in the beginning, Kage is like just basically tricking him to bringing like money and stuff like that. Yeah. But he eventually takes a liking to Bojji and is like, you're a good person. I need to look out for you. Like I need to make sure that I'm here for you so no one takes advantage of you. And and like I said in the beginning, everybody is like it's one of my favorite moments. It's crazy is when like Bojji goes on his adventure and they send Domas and I can't remember the guy that Domas was with because he's like a side character. But
the super loyal person.
Yeah, the super loyal person. And if I remember, what is his name? It's not this guy. Oh, Dorsch? No, that's not him.
No, it's Hokoru.
Hokoru, yeah. And Hokoru, he loves Bojji, and he's just like, yeah, we're gonna watch over Bojji. Whereas
Bojji
Domas
was nice to him Bojji was nice to him when he was younger, right?
Exactly. He just, he basically like, hey, it's okay, and he was just very nice to him. And so they go on this journey to like, he wants to go meet Despa, if I remember correctly, to become strong. And like they go into that village with the hole that basically sinks into hell,
the underworld,
in a way, the underworld. And then the betrayal happens because Domas is the only one that knows he's going to betray Bojji. Mm-hmm. And like my whole I really like that point just because regardless of what happened, and like it's crazy when it happens because at first I didn't see it coming where Domas was gonna just like push him, but when you see it happen, you're just like, what the hell?
What the fuck?
And then
I remember that happening, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? What the hell is this bullshit? Fuck this guy. This was my response to that.
It's so funny because it just makes you go, why would you do this to such a nice kid? Why would you do this?
Why would you just murder this kid?
Exactly.
Sorry.
And then, but he's doing it for like, because if I remember right, didn't Healing tell him, or no, Daida did. He requested, he's like, hey, do this.
Yeah.
And so he's Daida just basically loyal to the kingdom.
At the behest of the mirror.
Yeah, Miranjo.
Because Healing she wanted to protect Bojji to begin with.
Exactly.
Even though she was kind of mean to Bojji, like in the episodes that revealed her backstory, she wanted to be Bojji's mom. Like she loved Bojji. She wanted to support Bojji, but she also, loved her own son. So that was that conflict there where she loved her own son, but she also loved Bojji because Bojji was a kind and caring character and needed the support and help. And so it was the mirror that told Daida to tell Domas to murder Bojji.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, because because Daida isn't inherently bad. It's just he's being influenced by the mirror's plot of wanting to take over the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, the Miranjo. I can't remember exactly the reason why she wanted to take over the kingdom. It had something to do with.
It has to do with Bose.
Bose, yeah. I can't remember.
I can't remember what it is either. So
I can't remember. I'm sorry, but I love that moment, especially. I also like the Underworld King a lot. His name Desha. He's like, he made me. He kind of looks like a beefed up Waluigi. He looks like a beefed up Waluigi.
That's a good way to put it. He's chill. He's chill and sarcastic, and that's what I love about him.
Yeah, he's chill and sarcastic. Because Bojji comes to him for help to like, hey, can you help me get stronger? And then like I think he tries to like analyze his strength or something. He was like, you're not strong at all. And it doesn't make any sense. And then that's when he recommends like, go see Despa. Cause Despa can help you. Yeah. And, even his, another favorite moment of mine that I really liked is, them meeting Despa. Despa's this very, like outspoken, very loud character.
He's very, what's the best word for Despa? Outspoken would be a good word, but he's very theatrical is the way I can say it.
Theatrical, yes.
He's very theatrical. He's very much like, oh, I am awesome. And this is why I'm awesome. And everyone should recognize why I'm awesome. And I'm just like, okay, Despa, let's tone it down, Despa. Let's tone it down.
Yeah. And it's funny because when you first meet Despa and you get to know him, you kind of feel like, is this dude for real? Because he says that he's helped so many people become strong. Yeah. And he's like, I've made, countless people just be strong. And it sounds like a lot of like fluff and a lot of like show.
It's like, okay.
And you're like, huh?
I don't believe you. But no, he's awesome.
Exactly.
Despa's freaking awesome.
Yeah. He's awesome. And it's funny because there's that moment too where like he's training Bojji for like a long time, for like a couple days. And then I think he goes, okay, Kage has to like, he tells Kage, he's like, hey, I have to train Bojji. I need you to wait out here for a while. And they're in that cave for a very long time. Yeah. Or that little whatever section.
Like the best way I can describe that, like, chamber was like, oh, this is the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly.
That's what I thought when they went in. They were like, we're gonna go into this room and we're not coming out. And I was like, oh, this is just the hyperbolic time chamber. Is that what it's called for Dragon Ball Z? Anyway, sorry.
The hyperbolic time chamber. No, you're good, because that's what reminded me of too. And then Kage's just kind of like waiting around, just waiting.
Yeah, he's just hanging out in the hallway. just like, dude, okay, cool. Twiddling his thumbs. Or I guess he doesn't have thumbs, but
no, it's hilarious because so they're in there for a while. They come out and then he's expecting, I guess, Bojji to be like different, look different or whatever, and just be amazed or like, just transform. But then he's like, I don't see anything really changed. Nothing feels a thing. And then he has to choose a weapon. And of course, he chooses his small little sword or whatever that's basically perfect for Bojji's height and just like size. Mm-hmm. And then they go to that bar because he's like, this is where I think, if I remember correctly, I think Kage suspects that something might be afoot because they go to the bar, if you remember this, after that. Yeah. And Bojji gets into, they get into some sort of brawl with someone and then they're like fighting and he like beats them crazy, right? But then Bojji's like, I'm strong, everything's amazing. But then there's a moment where Despa, you see him meeting the people that they fought and he basically like pays them off. And then Kage's like, you're a liar. Like, this is all a lie. But I think it was like a part of the thing to get Bojji in the state of mind of like, he's stronger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, but sorry for long rambling. But there are great moments like that in this anime. Before, were there any moments that you enjoyed as far as like certain background episodes or anything like that from Ranking of Kings?
So specific episodes that I enjoyed, or specific moments that I enjoyed, because I can't remember what episodes they happened in, was the episode where Domas betrays Bojji. Mm-hmm. Like the back and forth that we have kind of with his backstory of where he's going and like meeting the mirror and stuff, and like eventually his like conflict that he has within himself, because initially he doesn't want to push Bojji. Like he's like, I don't want to do this. I know this is wrong, but fuck, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. Yeah. Push Bojji down. And then just like as he walks away, he just laughs about it because Hokaru is like, "What happened to Bojji?" And he's just like, "He's back that way, dude.
Yep.
Go check the hole." And Hokaru is like, "What the what?" It's like, I think that's just like such a good bout of tension there, and I think that particular episode really balanced like. You knew something was going to happen, kind of in the way you didn't know he was going to absolutely try to murder Bojji, obviously. But it was like, I think that was a good, really balance there of giving us the backstory of why he did it. Because he wanted to be the best swords master or whatever in the kingdom and stuff. And so that particular moment, I do like the training sessions with Despa. Despa. God, too many names are similar in this fucking game.
I know, exactly.
Because we have Despa, Desha, Domas. It's like, granted, Domas doesn't sound the same, but it's like, anyways. I particularly like the moment where Bojji overcomes Data in their training fight.
Oh,
do you remember that? And then Domas is like, dude, don't let him. You need to let him win. Because he's going to fucking be a piece of shit if you don't let him win. And then Bojji's like, wait, what? I was supposed to be the best, and you're telling me I can't do that?
Yeah.
Obviously, Bojji didn't say any of that because, like, he can't talk. But, like, that's the suggestion that you get. Because Bojji, like, when Domas was like, dude, stop it. Bojji just looked he looked so defeated. He was just like,
he's like,
what am I supposed to do? Like, to let him win. And I like that episode a lot too, because that really established where Bojji was, where Data was, where Domas was. Like, it really established that dynamic and why these two characters had a conflict. Which by the end of the season they were, back to being, buddy friends and all that stuff, and because that's what this anime is. Like, I think, and I appreciate about this anime that it doesn't take the negative. Like, it brings you the negative, it brings you the negativity, but it also, at the end of the day, everything's going to turn out good because that's fundamentally who Bojji is, and Bojji is the heart of the show, so everything's going to be good. But like, I particularly like that episode where they were fighting. Because I just thought that showcased what the stakes were between these characters.
Exactly.
And where they were at, and why Daida wanted to become king, and why Bojji wanted to be king, and like really establishing who these characters were. Yeah. And Kage watching to the side going, what is this? This is bullshit. Kage was like upset. Kage was over there. He was hiding in the bushes, right? And he was just like, this is bullshit. What's going on?
But it's crazy. Which just brings me to another topic of we touched on earlier, but excuse me. We can kind of come back to it where Bojji says a lot without saying anything this entire anime. With the occasional that's him like just trying to get attention for something or whatever. He's, like I said, he's the only character who's literally pure at heart. Where he like is
biggest limitations. He's pure of heart and has the biggest limitations.
The biggest limitations, and everyone else, for the most part, is basically an asshole to Bojji. And it's
initially
crazy.
They're all assholes to him, and eventually
exactly.
they see. And I think again, this goes back to like Bojji. Just he fundamentally changes everyone he meets, and it's part of like the trope of anime, like good the enemies become friends type thing. That's just a normal trope in anime, but like with Ranking of Kings, it makes sense because Bojji, again, as you keep saying, he's so pure of heart. And that heart is what turns people to go, oh wait, the fuck are we doing? Like, why are we why are we be like, even Miranjo, the mirror, is like, oh shit, I made a pact with his father. Bojji's actually good. Fuck. Okay.
It's because because I was looking it up here, and I remembered I found the thing where Miranjo, before she was in the mirror, she was like a very kind. She was a part of some sort of group of other sorcerers, where basically they were very strong and powerful. And it wasn't until Bose came and basically slayed her father, but then Miranjo's mother nursed Bose back to health and saw the kindness in that of like, regardless of what happened. And so she chose to ally, Miranjo chose to ally herself to Bose and basically like try to be, be good and kind of like, be accepting. But then she went through some traumatic, what was it here? I had it right here, where basically she went through some traumatic, things where the kingdom fell and basically just kind of like changed her, and the trauma just changed her to be evil and bad, to want to take over the kingdom, for everything that happened to like Bose.
Bose was just he was not a very, he was a strong king, he was not a very good king.
Exactly, yeah. And he basically did not always make the best choices, which is why when he had his son Bojji, he saw how pure of heart he was, and he was like, oh, you need to be the king. Yeah,
like, because you're a good person.
You're a good person. I am a horrible person. But
well, Bose wasn't horrible. He was misguided in what he thought the kingdom needed. So.
Exactly. And then it's through his kid that he realizes that, oh no, the king doesn't need,
which is
a super powerful, strong king. Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
in most anime.
It happens in most animes, and it just happens in life too, where parents realize, oh shit, some parents don't, but most parents, I want to believe most parents go, oh, we need to make this child better than we are. Anyways, we don't need to get into that.
Exactly. And so there's a lot of betrayal with the mirror and stuff. And so the mirror goes through this whole thing of like basically wanting to take over, and she influences Daida in order for Daida to be the best king. She's like, you have to go do this. You have to get rid of Bojji.
You have to get rid of Bojji. Yeah. You have to drink some weird fucking elixir that we create. And then we're going to force you to drink it.
And it was like crazy. And then Daida later comes to realize that he's been manipulated, and that actually basically all the things he was told to do was not necessarily what he wanted to do. And then he gets, if I remember correctly, because there's that moment where he gets stuck in that. Does he get stuck into like that dark place?
Yeah. It's not the dark place. Let's not confuse it with Alan Wake. Okay.
Oh.
It's like the dark place.
It's like limbo.
Yeah,
it's like limbo.
Where he's just like, what the hell's going on? What is this place?
And like
he got trapped inside of his like own mind almost.
Yes. And that's when he's realizing like, oh, like, because in that place as well, he meets the young Miranjo that is like innocent and just everything like that, and he's like, oh, like actually this is who you really are. And then like Bojji is the one that comes to like help and stuff to like bring them back to reality. And it's crazy. I will say too, that I have not mentioned yet, Bojji, some of these fight animations are like crazy. Like they're actually really cool.
They're really good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Of like, just because Bojji's so small and his enemies most of the time are way bigger than him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't think that there would be such great of an animation with the fighting, but man, are some of these fights like crazy.
They're so good.
The one that sticks out for me is towards the end, whenever Bojji is fighting he's fighting the knight, but then he also fights the demon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. He fights the demon with the help of Despa, right?
Yes, with the help of Despa, yeah.
Yeah, because and Kage is in there for a brief period of time too.
Yeah,
right.
But like, he's in there for like a brief little bit. But what's crazy is like, which I think is so cool, because Bojji's so small, he can do all this like crazy jumping off.
He bounces off the walls and shit. It's like he's like Yoda from Star Wars.
Basically, that's a perfect example. He's basically like Yoda. He's just like everywhere. And it's such a like cool thing where like, sure, the story is amazing and it's great. It's very heartwarming, very standard. But man, are the fights like so good in here.
Yeah.
So good.
I agree.
But yeah, I don't know if you had any like other like favorite like fights or just like character evolution. Was there any character that, of course, a lot of characters in the beginning you tend to hate, but of course they come full circle and they become good. Was there anybody that you enjoyed seeing that journey for? And also, was there anybody that you hated in the beginning, and regardless of their transformation, you're just like, no, fuck them still? Like, was there any character like that?
So the character that I hated at first was Bebin. You know, he was the asshole to he seemed like the asshole to Bojji.
Yeah.
But then you through Kage's backstory and or like through Kage's storyline, you see that Bebin's actually trying to protect Bojji, but he seems like a complete asshole. Because
exactly,
and of course he's like associated with snakes, and snakes is just like for whatever reason in lore is just inherently evil because snakes are are considered inherently evil because whatever. But like Bebin's actually a good guy. He's actually a good guy. He wants to protect Bojji. So like that's a character that initially I was like, I hate this guy, and then I was like, and then he like died in the same episode, or well, he got mortally wounded in the same episode where I was like, oh, he's actually a good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there was one character that I still hate. He was one of the big four of the folks. Let me big four. This guy? Nope. That's not that guy. I can't remember all the names of the big four, so that's where I'm lost at. But it was one of the big four where trying to find his name. I'm going through like wiki pages trying to see if I can't remember his name.
It's
not important.
Big four.
But it's one of the big four that I don't like. He was the one that fought Bebin actually.
Oh,
and then tried to destroy them. He tried to stop Data, and then was like, "Oh wait, you're with the mirror? I guess I support you now." I hated that guy. Hated him.
Are you talking about Appius? He's the guy that Appius. Appease?
Yeah. Appius.
Him, yeah.
he at first was like, he was like one of the only people that sided with Bojji during the election stuff. And then and then he just like, it was just like a lack of character development, I think, where Appius was like, oh, wait, you're with Miranjo? Okay, I guess I'm going to be with you too. And I was like,
exactly.
You kind of fucking suck. You're just a piece of shit. Like, that's all it took. It was just like, he like just kind of gave up all his ideals in that moment. Exactly. I was just like, that didn't sit well with me. So,
no, exactly. That's like, I'll say that of this anime, with the exception of him, I think a lot of the people who are the main cast have great character development, where even Bojji has great character development. Even though he's the pure of heart, where he changes. And I think what works so well with this anime, where no one really feels like one note. Sure, they might have, like, Bojji has a lot of the same ideals, but they slightly change as you go through the anime. But I think that the story and the plot of the anime, even though it is very standard and very simple for itself, I think that the characters make it more enjoyable, with the journey and things like that, which we haven't even touched on the end, where basically, Miranjo, she realizes the error of her ways and basically turns good, and basically the demon gets slayed that comes back, who made the deal with Bose, the father. Bojji, with the help of everyone, ends up defeating the demon. And there's also a knight that we didn't mention, where there's this knight that basically was a good guy, but then got turned into this bad, unbeatable knight that can't die. Eventually he gets buried or like turned into some rock. He gets buried into a rock, which is hilarious. But at the end of everything, when the kingdom is at peace once again, after Bojji comes back from his journey and he becomes this new thing, people are like, oh, they realize the error of the ways is funny. Bojji, you can be the king. You should be the king.
You can be the king. That's great.
Exactly.
We support you. Please forgive us. And of course, Bojji being Bojji was like, I forgive you all. You tried to murder me. You were assholes to me, but I forgive you. Bojji should have murdered all of them.
Can you imagine if the anime turned like that? He was like, Bojji, actually, I'm no longer
Bojji turned into a tyrant. Just like, I'm going to fucking kill all of you bitches.
Exactly. But Bojji coming back, everyone wants him to be king. Daida even thinks like, you should be king. Yeah. And he decides not to be king. He says, no, Daida, you should be
season 2.
What's that? Oh, sorry. Whoops. Sorry. But
because he's king for like a couple episodes. He's king at the end of season 1, and then like 1 or 2 episodes of season 2. Anyways.
Exactly. And so Bojji becomes basically the best king that there can be of the land, of what it needs.
Yeah.
And
at the time, Daida does learn. Daida does learn. Daida does learn.
Exactly. But well, this kind of brings it a little bit close to the close of I'll say my last thoughts on Ranking of Kings. That, man, it's such a great anime that, like you said, it has a nice balance of heartwarmingness with serious moments, of knowing how to kind of balance the two. The characters, I'd say Bojji is just a very endearing character. I almost feel like you love Bojji right from the get-go.
Yeah, I agree.
Just when you learn about him. Same thing with Kage, even though Kage is a little bit of a hiccup just because of his backstory and stuff. But once you learn his backstory, you just love Kage. And they're some of my favorite, like, just duos, because they basically are like going to be friends forever. Yeah. And
going to be BFFs forever, and they're never going to leave each other.
Exactly. And overall, man, I just love this anime a lot. I think it's a very great, simple anime. Yeah. Great writing, great character development, and I definitely recommend it. Now, before we get into the rankings, do you have any last minute thoughts or anything like that?
Not really. Like, again, I enjoyed this anime a lot. I think it's really good. Bojji, again, probably my favorite protagonist of any of the animes that we have on our list. Like, he's just so endearing, and it's just so heartwarming. I think it's so wild to me, like, Ranking of Kings, just like the balance it has between being just heartwarming and being so serious and being so funny at times, where it's just like it's just a perfect balance. And for it being so simple, like, it's just a simple plot. Like, there's no it's not a deep plot at all. Like, let's be real.
Not deep at all.
It's not deep at all, but it does it so well. And I think that's something we should appreciate. It. Like, that's something to appreciate about Ranking of Kings, that even though the plot is so simple, it does it so well. Especially compared to other animes that are kind of have similar plot lines. Like, I it's, it's not a 1-for-1 sort of comparison, but like Dragon Ball Z has a very similar, like, story arc with a lot of the characters. Naruto has a very similar story arc to a lot of the characters, but they're just way too serious for what they are. Like, again, I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. I enjoy Naruto for the most part, but they're way too serious. And I feel like this is I feel like Ranking of Kings is like the what's the word for it? I can't think of the word for it, but it's like the less serious version of those, where it's just like, we're just gonna, we're not gonna be serious. Like, we're gonna have all these betrayals. We're gonna have all these epic moments that, like, you'll find in, like, the Narutos or the Dragon Balls, but we're not gonna be serious about it. We're gonna be heartwarming. We're gonna be chill. Yeah, we're gonna have some pretty epic moments and some pretty intense moments, but we're also gonna be chill for the most part, because I feel like a lot of Ranking of Kings is pretty chill. Yeah. In between the intense moments, it's like you have episodes where it's just like Bojji's just being Bojji, and he's just being positive and training. And then you have the moments where, I'm going to betray you. It's like, okay, cool.
Exactly.
So I think it's an interesting balance. Again, it goes back to that balance. And I think Ranking of Kings does it really well. I keep wanting to say Bojji the Rock, and it's not the same anime. It's not the same anime.
It's not. But okay, great. Well, then now it comes to the part of this episode where we break down the rankings and we see where we rank the ranking of kings.
You going to do it?
Yeah, I can do it. So here. So we have before we get to the overall list, on Jesus's list currently, what we have is our at his number 1, Trigun Stampede Season 1. Number 2, Megalobox. 3, Bojji the Rock. 4, Another. 5, Erased. 6, Your Lie in April. 7, Spy X Family Season 1. 8, Mashal, Magic and Muscles. 9, Kakaguri. And at number 10, One Punch Man Season 1.
I just want to say this. Mashal, Magic and Muscle.
Mashal. Sorry. Mashal. Sorry.
This is not a commentary on like how you pronounce it. Every time I go to the Conveni next to my school, there is fucking Mashal merchandise being sold there. Like there's like food advertised with Mashal, like the cream puffs. You know,
the cream puffs.
There's like cream puffs Mashal brand at the Conveni that I go to where I work, like near where I work. And I'm just like, every time I see it, I just think of you, and I don't know why. I'm just like, I see that, funny. I'm like, I need to take a picture of this and send this to Al, and I haven't done it yet. Monday when I go, because like I always go before I get to campus, because I buy a drink and I buy chips, and anyways, I'll take a picture just to show you. But like, there's like a whole section where it's just like Mashal stuff, and I'm just like, I didn't realize how popular this is here in Japan, because it's pretty freaking popular here in Japan. So.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Anyway, sorry for that ramble.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. So for my list, I have number 1, One Punch Man Season 1. 2, Megalobox. 3, Trigun Stampede Season 1. 4, Mashal, Magic and Muscles. 5, Kakaguri. 6, Another. 7, Spy X Family Season 1. 8, Erased. 9, Bojji the Rock. 10, Your Lie in April. And then lastly, the overall ranking that we currently have, tied for first, Trigun Stampede Season 1 and Megalobox Season 1. 2, Another. 3, One Punch Man Season 1. 4, we have a tie, Bojji the Rock and Mashal. 5, Erased. 6, Spy X Family Season 1, as well as Kakaguri. And at number 7, Your Lie in April. Now, if I think correctly, I think some of these ties will be broken with where we put Ranking of Kings Season 1.
Yeah, because we're only doing our top 10. So if a anime gets eliminated, like One Punch Man's about to be eliminated for me, I'm assuming Your Lie in April is about to be eliminated for you.
Yes.
So those will no longer be counted towards the overall ranking because they're off our list. So we only include the top 10. So yeah, One Punch Man Season 1 for me is about to be off my list. Foreshadowing here for what I'm about to rank Ranking of Kings. And Your Lie in April is about to be off the list for you. So I'm assuming, unless you decide that
randomly put it right there. No,
I don't think that's what's going to happen here. But
no.
Anyways,
with the rankings, Jesus, where does Ranking of Kings? Where does Bojji and Kage? Where does Bojji rank for you?
I just burped. It was gross. Sorry. I always have to start this with from the bottom up. Yeah, I like it more than One Punch Man Season 1. God, yes. Fucking hate One Punch Man. I still, I tried to watch it again. I tried to watch Season 1 again because I was bored. Still fucking hate it. Fucking hate it.
That's so funny.
So I'm going to jump ahead, though, and go to my number 5, which is Erased. Did I like it more than Erased? Yes. Did I like it more than Another? Yes. Did I like it more than Bojji the Rock? Which
Bojji meets Bojji.
I've been so high on for so long. Yeah. Did I like it more than Bojji the Rock? Yes, I fucking did.
Wow.
Did I like it more than Megalobox? Unfortunately, I did not. Unfortunately, I did not. So my number 3 now on my list is Ranking of Kings.
Wow.
Oh God, I'm like
an upset that I did not see coming. Bojji lost to Bojji.
Yeah. So for me, like Ranking of Kings, like I know I've been high on it. Like Bojji, my number 1 favorite protagonist of any of the series that we've watched.
Uh, My biggest thing with it is that at times it feels too simple. Is my biggest thing. Is my biggest drawback with it, and then it's easily predictable. I think. Yeah, and that's something I meant to talk about. It was just like everything felt predictable, like betrayals and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. This character is going to screw over Bojji or is going to do this thing. Like, ranking of rings is what I put. That's funny. So like, yeah, like I love this anime. I think it's fantastic. But like when I look at Megalobox, I think Megalobox is such a special anime. I think it does such a for what Megalobox is just there's something special about Megalobox that I can't explain. Yeah. There's a style to it that I love. The storyline is just amazing. The fights are the best. Like other than the last two episodes of Trigun Stampede, I think Megalobox has the best fight scenes in any of the animes that we've watched.
I could see that.
One Punch Man, maybe. Like One Punch Man, I will give one credit to where credit's due. One Punch Man has some incredible fight scenes, but Megalobox, because of how simple the fight scenes are in Megalobox, dude, like holy shit, like Megalobox is incredible. But like, and then Trigun Stampede, like I'm biased because I fucking love. I
get that.
This comes at like, go watch a review of Trigun because like, you'll understand my bias with Trigun. Like I love Trigun. And so Trigun Stampede, my number one. Like it sucks that my bias comes through with Trigun, but Trigun Stampede is genuinely just a good fucking anime. And Trigun Stampede has the best just like visuals of any of the animes that we've watched. Like I will fight you to this day. I will fight you right now if you tell me that Trigun does not have the best visuals, because there are some incredible just visuals for Trigun Stampede that none of these other animes come close to, in my opinion.
I will fight for that. From what I remember,
just like the Wolfwood episode where Wolfwood like shoots the beam through the worm. Fucking shit. And then the last 2-3 episodes of Trigun Stampede are epic. Oh, chef's kiss visually. Just like, oh my God. Anyways, so like Ranking of Kings, really good anime. But it doesn't come to where I have Trigun Stampede and Megalobox on my list, like in terms of how much I enjoyed them. Because Megalobox just, maybe it's season 2 of Megalobox, because I do think season 2 of Megalobox is better. But like I do love Megalobox a lot. So anyways.
Interesting.
My current list right now at my top 10, Trigun Stampede, season 1, Megalobox, Ranking of Kings, Bojji the Rock, Another, Erased, Your Lie in April, Spy X Family, Mashle, and Kakaguri. And thank God I fucking have One Punch Man off my list because I hate that anime so much.
That's hilarious. All right, so now it's my time. This is interesting because Ranking of Kings is also another one of my favorites that I think of the now 11 animes that we've watched.
Yep, 11.
Excuse me. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing where I'm going to kind of skip a lot, where I think Ranking of Kings is better than Your Lie in April, personally, for me.
Yeah, of course.
I do think it's better than Bojji the Rock. I'm going to skip a little bit.
It's very close to Bojji. You're a fool if you think Bojji the Rock sucks.
Well, sorry, Bojji, on my list. But I'm going to skip up to starting at number 5. Do I think it's better than Kakaguri? Oof. Yes. Yeah. I do think it's better than Kakaguri. Do I think it's better than Mashle? Yes, I do think it's better than Mashle, Magic Muscles. We're getting into top 3 territory here.
One Punch Man, Megalobox, and Trigun.
Trigun. Do I think it's better than Trigun for me personally? I'm going to say yes.
Oh, you're a piece of shit. I fucking hate you. Let's hit this. Let's hit this. This doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know what it is, but I think it's that heartwarmingness of Bojji.
Trigun is fucking depressing as shit. So Trigun's depressing as shit.
And you know, I think Bojji is just such an endearing character that you just love Bojji. Bojji makes you want to be a better person. just watching this anime, where you're just like, man, maybe I'm an asshole and I need to do better.
And I do want to ask, do you think the visuals of Trigun are not better than fucking Ranking of Kings? Because Trigun has better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do think that Trigun has better
as long
visuals.
As we agree on that, I'm kind.
Yes, yeah. I do think it has better visuals than Ranking Kings, but I think it's just the characters themselves. I think that, because like Trigun does have great characters as well, because you just reminded me of like cool moments from there. Yeah. With like being in
Wolfwood's the fucking coolest
worm
character ever. Like,
yeah, he
Wolfwood's
is
so good. I wish he was the protagonist, but he's not.
I know. And so, but for me, I think that I next go to, is it better than Megalobox? And I'm sorry, but Gearless Joe knocks out Bojji in the last round. Gearless Joe is just so cool, and that anime is so amazing. I like it a lot. But for me, Ranking Kings is moving to number 3. Below Megalobox and One Punch Man, sorry. Sorry, you're lying, April, you get pushed out. But yeah, I think Ranking of Kings, man, it's like, it's almost as if they just, it's perfectly packaged as far as Ranking of Kings, where it has a little bit of everything. It's almost like a vitamin in a way, where it just has everything you need. It doesn't have a little bit of too much of this, like excess, like just clutter or just unnecessary things. It's a well written, very similar like plot line story to a lot of other animes, but I think it's just done so well with the characters as well. And that's why for me, Ranking Kings is number 3. And so I think that, man, it's such a great anime that I think that if anyone who wants to get into an anime, I think it's a great jumping point to get into it, because it's not too serious, where it's not like, too deep, but I think that it's very endearing and very heartwarming. If you're looking to get into something that also season 1 isn't that long, I think it's only like 12 episodes, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's great. And so, so now I have One Punch Man season 1 at number 1, 2 is Megalobox, 3 is Ranking of Kings, 4 is Trigun Stampede season 1, 5 is Mashle, 6 is Kakaguri, 7 is Another, 8 is Spy X Family season 1, number 9 is Erased, and then at number 10 I have Bocchi the Rock. It's so interesting. And I'm
updating the list.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I'm going through it like Jesus, one at a time. So.
Oh yeah, and so as Jesus continues to update the list here as he's finishing up, I'll say that we've watched a lot of great animes, and Ranking King is up there. We have, interesting enough, just one more anime for the year, which we're gonna do in December, which is Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans season 1.
It's so fucking good. I'm just gonna say that right now. Foreshadowing for whatever I'm going to rank it. Foreshadowing where I'm going to rank it. It's going to be pretty high on my list.
This is going to be very interesting. Is about to be
knocked off.
Just so everybody knows. And so it's going to be interesting to see how we end the year with starting this series that we did. And I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm excited for next year as well, just for some great animes. Which lately, I'll say this as he's finishing up. Lately, I've been watching a great anime, which I've mentioned before, Dr. Stone. They're finishing up season 2, and I've been enjoying that a lot. That might have to be something where we watch season 1 next year. But yeah, it's cool. Ranking Kings, really great, really good anime. I would say, well, maybe not. I was about to say it's family friendly to a point. There's certain things that might be a little scary, but overall, great anime.
And then, all right, the list is updated. So our overall rankings are number 1. This is a surprise to me. Our number 1 is Megalobox. Our number 1 is Megalobox because you've put Trigun Stampede so low on your list. Yeah. Megalobox is number 1 with 18 points. 18 points.
Wow.
Trigun Stampede, number 2 with 17. Ranking of Kings, number 3 with 16. Another and One Punch Man season 1 tied in 4th place.
Wow.
Bocchi the Rock and Mashle tied at 5th place. Erased at number 6. And then another tie, Spy Family and Kakaguri at number 7. And then at number 8, You're lying, April. So we still have all 12 of our animes in our top.
That's so
overall
funny.
top 10 list. Obviously, our individual lists are different from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right now we have 8 places for our 12 animes, or 11 animes so far. How many animes? Yeah, 11 animes. 12
11, yep.
with Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blood Orphans will be 12.
Yes.
Man, have you started Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans yet?
I have not.
Ooh-wee. It's something special, brother. Like I'm gonna give a little. I am not just too big into Mobile Suit Gundam at all. Like I've watched Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, back in the day. I think like that's a lot of, especially for Americans, that's like that was the first big introduction, because that was I want to say Mobile Suit Gundam Wing was the first mobile suit to be translated in English. I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm wrong, correct me. But it was the first Mobile Suit Gundam to be translated in English, and then all the other, because of how popular it was, all the other ones got translated. But this is my first Mobile Suit Gundam since I can't remember the name of the one that I watched in like 2003, 2004. It was on Toonami late at night. If you remember when Toonami did late night anime episodes, Toonami / Adult Swim, because eventually it turned into Adult Swim, but it was like 2004, 2005.
Yeah,
I remember staying up watching it because it was paired with Inuyasha. If you remember Inuyasha,
oh yeah.
It was paired with Inuyasha, Bleach, and then it was a Mobile Suit Gundam thing, and I can't remember what Mobile Suit Gundam was, but that was the last time I watched any sort of Mobile Suit Gundam. But Iron Blooded Orphans.
Ah, nice.
It's nothing's cooler than fucking big ass mechs doing big ass mech things.
Right?
Right? Like,
exactly.
Gundam Wing is amazing, but like I don't want to.
Go too much.
I'm struggling to say so much about Iron Blooded Orphans, because I don't want to hype you up too, because I feel like I'm hyping it up, and you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, it's not good, and I'm gonna be like, motherfucker. It's so good.
We'll see. So for next month, everyone, we'll be watching Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans Season 1. Important there. Season 1. And we'll record it next month, and we'll drop it next month. That way you can watch along if you want to come back and watch the review of it. Other than that, any last things about Bojji ranking? Anything? Bojji. I mean, I assume you're ranking Kings.
So, looking at my list now, Trigun Stampede, Megalobox, Ranking of Kings, Bojji the Rock, Another Erased, all that. I'm in such an interesting place with my top 4.
Yeah.
Because like I love Bojji the Rock so much. Like know this. It's so weird for me. Like if you would have asked me almost a year ago now, because like we've been doing this for almost a year now. If you would have asked me back in January when we first did Bojji the Rock, I would have been like, Bojji Rock is going to be my number 1 throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Because like I loved Bojji so much. Like it's such a good anime. But like I feel like Ranking of Kings and Bojji the Rock for me could like change positions at any point in time.
Wow.
Depending on my mood, like because Bojji and Ranking of Kings, they're both so heartwarming. They're both so heartwarming. Like Bojji for different reasons. I think Bojji is one of the most relatable animes. It is the most relatable anime that we've watched on this list. So Bojji the Rock is the most relatable. And I think in that regards, like that's why I think the heartwarmingness of it is like, for me, like Ranking of Kings and Bojji the Rock could be interchanged at any point in time for me. Because it's like both of them are so good. Both of them are so good.
Yeah. I could see that.
Ranking of Kings just takes a little bit over because of just how it takes the simple storyline and makes it heartwarming. Because I think that is a challenge. Taking that simple storyline and making people believe in these characters and making them believe that I don't know how to say this. Making viewers believe just like the direction these characters are going.
Yeah.
Like I think Ranking of Kings does such a good job at that. But yeah, like for Ranking of Kings and Bojji the Rock, I feel like either one of these could be interchangeable depending on my mood and depending on how recent I've watched an episode. Because like I go back and listen to Bojji the Rock, like the soundtrack for Bojji the Rock, because Bojji the Rock has probably the best soundtrack out of all these animes. It's fucking good. It's so fucking good. Like I mean, obviously because it's an anime about music, right? So like it has to have good music. So like the music for Bojji the Rock is incredible. But like, yeah. Like I just, my top 4, like, I mean, nothing's going to I'm going to reveal this right now. Nothing, not even Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans comes close to my love of Trigun Stampede. So,
wow.
Yeah. Does it come close to Megaloboxing? Megaloboxing? I don't know. You got to have to find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
What about you?
Well, it's me. My top 4, I mean, they're kind of similar with a little bit of differences, I mean, I have Trigun at 4, Ranking of Kings at 3, Megalobox at 2, and then One Punch Man Season 1 at 1. So they kind of, they are similar in certain ways, but they have their small differences. I mean, it kind of, to be honest, it just gives a reflection of me as a person, of the things that I'm into. Yeah. A lot of fighting, a lot of with a random heartwarm with Ranking of Kings. Yeah. And so even Mashle at 5, I mean, it's interesting. And so it's going to be interesting where once I start watching Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, once I start watching that season 1, to see where that ranks for me, because I might love it, I might be like I don't know where it's going to fit, but it's interesting because I mean, I guess it tells a little bit of a little bit about me as far as like what I'm into and what I like to enjoy in my animes, and it's going to be interesting. And I think like if anything, sorry, I cut you off. Sorry. No, you're good. You're good.
I think like if anything, this does kind of paint the picture of what we look for in animes. Because again, like Trigun Stampede is a combination of nostalgia and just Trigun Stampede being a good anime, and then Megalobox just being an incredible anime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'll be honest. I do think. If it wasn't for the nostalgia factor of Trigun just Trigun in general, I probably would put Megalobox above Trigun. Like honestly, confession. That took so much out of me to confess that. But yeah, the biasness that I have, the history that I have with Trigun, it's always hard to like divorce yourself of that kind of history. Like I've been watching Trigun since 1998 when Trigun first appeared. I was 8 years old when I started watching that.
Wow.
Like, holy Crazy. Shit. Like,
yeah.
But like, Trigun's the only anime that I've ever bought every single manga for.
Wow.
Like, that's how much I love Trigun. Like, I can't explain it. I don't know why Trigun was the one that resonated with me, but Trigun Stampede resonates with me even more so, like, than the original run of Trigun. Like, again, wow. I love Trigun so much. So like it's really hard. I almost feel like I should probably take Trigun off my list just because of like how much history I have with it. Does that make sense? Like, because it's almost unfair. Because it's almost unfair for the rest of the list in a way.
Interesting. I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
which means you should probably take One Punch Man off your list so we don't ever have to fucking look at it again.
But for me though, I think that's funny. I was about to say, for me, I actually think One Punch Man is better than a lot of these. But anyway. But anyway, to wrap up the episode
I even watched season 2 of One Punch Man, and I was like, it's not. It's
season 2.
It's better than season 1. Still not good. Still not good.
Oh man, I love it. I can't wait.
The one thing I will say about One Punch Man. Mm-hmm. Probably some of the best fight scenes in any anime ever. Yeah. Ranking of Kings, I think, has some really good fight scenes that are on par with One Punch Man. But I do think One Punch Man, by and far, is the most consistent. The only anime that I think is above One Punch Man is Demon Slayer in terms of fight scenes.
Oh, Demon Slayer, they have great fight scenes. Yeah.
God, Demon Slayer fight scenes. 10 out of 10. Almost every single fight scene is a 10 out of 10. Like,
oh yeah,
like
it's crazy how much
they pour into that. How much quality and detail goes into the Demon Slayer fight scenes.
Oh yeah,
we're never going to review Demon Slayer because we both watched it, and I think we both kind of land somewhere similar where it would be high on our list, right?
Yeah,
with Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
maybe even number 1. I don't know.
yes for me. I don't know if that would be the same for Al, but that's why we're not going to review Demon Slayer ever. Because like I think Demon Slayer would be an unfair advantage because we've watched it and anyways, so I've rambled long enough. We've gone for over an hour now. So
but all right, let me wrap it up here. Everybody, thanks so much for watching this episode of Review Please Anime Edition, where we reviewed Ranking of Kings. As a reminder, next month we'll be reviewing Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans Season 1. So if you want to watch along, check that out. We'll be reviewing that in December, and it'll come out in December. And make sure to subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube at Respawn Please Podcast. And also follow us on social media at Respawn Please Podcast, as well as you can listen to this on the go everywhere you get podcasts. Just type in Review Please Anime Edition, and it'll pop up there with the other animes we reviewed as well. Other than that, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on our longest episode of anime. Review Please Anime Edition. Who would have thought that Ranking of Kings would take this long? Anyways, thank you all so much. Goodbye.
Bye.